I should have shaved my beard. Oh, hello, and welcome to another Retainer Designer Friday live stream. Today, we actually kind of got started on time at noon, so that's what I've been wanting to do. I'm experimenting with some cameras. I'm switching some things around, so bear with me. This stream, running on some battery things that I usually don't run on batteries, so fingers crossed I don't run out of batteries. So I do have my son, Beckett. Say hello, Beckett. Hello! He's helping me with the camera switching and stuff. So as y'all get in and start watching here, I'm going to start. I don't like that window behind me, but anyway. Today's live stream, I got a special order. So I got these. I got a text from one of the assistants saying, hey, can we change a color on a retainer? I was like, sure. They're like, the patient wants a different color. We didn't even deliver these yet. I don't know if she saw them or if the office, they accidentally put the wrong color and they realized the patient wanted a different color. So they were like, hey, can you change the colors? I was like, sure. They're like, do you need the retainers back? I said, yes, definitely. And the models. So they gave me the models back and the retainers. So today we're actually just going to be taking the wires. We're going to be removing the wires off the retainers and putting them back on here and doing regular retainers. And I'll show you my little trick for removing the acrylic safely without damaging the wires. But that was a very important thing, was I wanted the wires back, and I don't charge them as much. So that way I don't have to rebend these wires. So that's good. So Beckett, we'll go to the overhead camera here. I'll give them a better view of this. So these are the two retainers. They are luminary blue, and they want to change them to luminary blueberry, which it's a little bit more purple, but you know, we'll honor their what they want to do, what the patient wants to do. And I like to offer, and that was one of the questions, was I wanted to offer I think I offer 80 colors. I want the patients to be happy with their retainers. I want them to be able to show them off. If they have a color they like or a design they like, hence the name of Retainer Designer Camera, they can choose whatever color they want. They'll be proud of it and they'll wear them. And that's the important thing, is they wear these retainers. So what we do need to do is actually prep these as if I'm doing new acrylic. And you can see these are the old ones that we made the originals on. So I really need to re-wax in here. These were not the best scans that I got, but you know, they'll work. Obviously this is a very horseshoe upper holly, and that's because the scan wasn't all there. So I'm going to put a little bit of wax at this little void that never got scanned, and that way my wax doesn't get into that void. All right, so do my usual waxing on the posterior area right by the molars, the rugae, anywhere I think it needs it. I think there's a little bit of undercut right here. I'm going to block that. Any undercuts in 3D printed models, I've preached on it for many weeks now through these live streams. I need to block out because these 3D printed models are not forgiving. I didn't soak my brush. So I'm going to put this first layer on. I'm going to soak my brush. I do have a little thing of water behind me. Becky, I don't know if the silver camera will show it or not. The little water bucket behind me. Oh yeah, there we go. Got a new camera angle here. So I have it's a heat shield bucket. And I put my brush in here, and it's got a little bit of water. And so that's what I do, because this will get stiff with this this separator on here. All right, so let's do this lower, get it prepped. And The wax is actually still on here. Oh, Beckett. Did what? The duck cam died again?
Yeah.
Okay, go out there and see if you can turn the camera back on. I bet it went to sleep. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a duck cam. I just can't keep a camera out there, especially in this heat. My cameras keep saying, you know, too much. It needs to power down. It's got too much heat. So I'm using a cell phone. So you know how if you leave a cell phone out in the sun, it does not like that. So I'm going to paint this one. And on these 3D models, I'm just treating this as if there is no on there. Oh, okay. Did you bring it in? It burned your fingers.
Yes. Like, hold on. You want to touch it?
Oh yeah, that's super hot. Oh dang. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna set it here, and we'll let it cool. What we're gonna do is we'll put it in the window in here when it cools down. All right, so I got these painted. So let's go now. Huh?
Comment.
Oh, we got a comment. Harry, how does the gray resin print? So this is draft resin. So draft resin does a pretty good job printing. It does it faster than gray. Gray I think is pretty tough. Draft is a little more brittle, but I've learned to counteract with it, put up with it, because the draft resin, it prints twice as fast as gray. So gray prints really good. Like these two, if I print these two, like an hour and a half or less, maybe an hour to print these two on draft, it'd be 2 to 3 hours to print in gray. So gray does print really good. It prints slow, but it's a little bit tougher than draft. Draft is a little bit more brittle. But anyway, we're gonna let these dry. These this first layer of separator cure, I guess, and we're gonna see. So I realize I cannot put one of these in direct sunlight. That's a new thing. Hey, Beckett, I'm gonna add a camera to Sling Studio. Don't go to it yet. Let me get it set up. But it should pop up, but you're gonna have to mute it. Good Lord, this is so hot. All right. So go to this camera up here that I'm pointing at. And yeah, all right. So people can see I'm here. I'm just doing stuff. Okay. And connect it. All right. I'm gonna put this in the window. Well, there is no ducks out there now. There's probably no use doing this. Oh, there's one. There's Bobo. Okay, you can go to it. There's Bobo. And he's running away. Of course, Bobo would run away. I'm gonna put a little sticky wax. If any of y'all know how much, as a dental lab person, I use sticky wax, or this utility wax. Same stuff you use for your braces. Like when you have a pokey wire or something on your braces, I use it to hold this phone up in this window. But let me zoom in. Oh, on the duck cam? Whoa, that's weird. Okay, I'm rebooting it. All right, let me look at that. It's over here. See it?
Oh, okay.
So it's over there now. Yeah, I moved it to a different location. All right, now to go strip these acrylics. We're gonna go to this blue, I don't know what it's called in there, this overhead cam. Ow. You got, am I in the picture?
Yes.
Okay. So, I have talked about these before. These are my stainless steel bristle brushes. And right now I get them from JBC. You can get them most places. So like your Buffalo bristle brushes. These are stainless steel, and these will actually cut through acrylic really fast, but not damage your wires. So that's what I like to use to remove these things. I'm going to turn the suction on. The good thing is this was never put in the patient's mouth, so I don't have to worry about disinfecting it. And it's good to use suction because, you know, you're going to have acrylic just shooting off of this thing, but you can see it just digs out that acrylic really fast. So there is, well, I bent that really far. It's funny to see your work when it comes back. It's a real eye-opening experience, especially if like a patient has worn it for a while and it's like broken or something. You can see the adjustments that the doctor had to make on your retainer. It's a good learning process. Like, oh, my labial bow wasn't, you know, tight enough when I delivered it. Maybe I need to work on that. But this is kind of frustrating a little bit because, you know, you made perfectly two good retainers, but they want to change the colors on them. But it's fine. Mistakes happen. I make it on my end. The assistants make it on their end, and we help each other out. So there's one. So notice I went from the tissue side of the retainer, and because that's thinnest. If I went from the top side, I have to go through a lot more acrylic to get down to the wire, but the wire is closer on the tissue side than on the tongue side. So let me remove this name. So I just, let's see, what RPM am I using? Like 1920 RPM. And you need a pretty good handpiece. Cheap handpieces. Okay, I'll get to it when I get back. There we go. So you just work on this. Just work it, and all you have to do is worry about taking the acrylic off. And again, the wires weren't damaged during this process. No wires were hurt in the filming of this video. And right now I'm just kind of cleaning this up. You can see this is a little off. That's where me or them, probably me, adjusted this Adams clasp, which put pressure on here. So when I took it out of the acrylic, it actually, the pressure got relieved a little bit there too. So you'll notice that if you go and crank down your labial bow with the acrylic on, if you end up removing that wire, that wire and the acrylic will, you know, it'll release, it'll spring out, because now it's not under pressure anymore. So now I take all this, and I'll go ahead and take these two, and I'll go back to my other camera. All right, Beckett, what comment do we have? Michaela, holy smokes, what are you doing? What are you doing to the retainers? Yeah, the patient asked for a different color, so that's what we're doing is we're doing a different color. So I'm stripping the acrylic off of the wires, or stripping the wires out of the acrylic so I can just change the colors real quick. if you use this overhead cam here, this is one of the bad things about using. Oh, can you see that? Beckett, change the cameras. This overhead cam. This is one of the bad things about using those stainless steel bristle brushes. You'll get these tiny little wires stuck in you. You'll find them all over. So that's another reason to use a good suction, is using those wires. Yeah, but this is just a video on changing out the acrylic colors. And the reason I ask for the retainers back. Now, you know, if one of the rules I've set in my lab is if they ask for a replacement or repair or something like that, that still a little wet. I'm going to put that under a fan real quick and let that do its job. Oops. Got all over my shirt. I'm gonna put both these under a fan, let them dry real good. But again, it was a perfectly good retainer. I just wanted to change the color. Sometimes it's the sometimes you have to do this internally because the doctor, sorry, you do the retainer the wrong color on the script. You just do it. You just mess up. So while it's drying, I'll talk to this camera, Beckett. So when you go to, sometimes you do internal remakes. That's what an internal remake is you just make it in the wrong color. You look at the wrong script, you grab the wrong bottle, you're in a rut or something, and you just you just do it in the wrong color. It gets found out in the end, and this is the same process. You got to take it. Hopefully your models survive. That's one good thing about 3D printed models is, one, they're pretty tough. Even this draft Perry, it'll survive most taking the retainer. Usually on a plaster model, you take the retainer off, the teeth will break off. So you either got to keep all the teeth in a container. That's what we used to do in one of the labs I worked at. Is, hey, do we have ducks out there? Oh man. Whoa, something just flew by. Oh well. So you have internal remakes, or if the doctor's assistants, they put the wrong color down and the patient's upset and stuff like that. Like I said, I like the patients to have a lot of choices in their colors, so they'll wear the retainers. So I usually try to be nice about it. I just charge like a acrylic replacement charge. I don't charge for all new retainers because they sent the retainers back, and that's a good thing to do for repairs and stuff. So you can actually, I'll do a free replacement if it didn't fit, provided you send back the model and the retainer. And then I decide if it's going to be free actually, because if it fits the model, I did my job. If it doesn't fit the mouth, that means the model was wrong. So that's why it's always good to ask for the retainer back. Because then you can scavenge the wires and reuse them, and it saves you time in making it. And that's it. Yeah, AKA reacrylic. That's a good term. I like that. So we're reacrylicing today. We're not bending wires because we already bent the wires once. No use bending them again. And then we're just stripping off the old acrylic, putting on new acrylic. So from this process on, it is actually normal retainer construction, I guess. So, all right, let's see if this is dry. All right, overhead cam, and we will see if I can get all these on here. Now depending on if you've made some adjustments, you may have to, yes. Oh. So this fits on here pretty good. So I'm just gonna sticky wax it down. Actually, I see a little adjustment I can make. I'm just gonna do it with my hand. Beckett got, you're so fast with that. I got it. I work at a lab in an office. We cut down a few years ago just to save natural pink and clear, but we are only going only to clear soon. Haha, no colors. Oh, yeah. that is one of the things. Some offices, they do not give the patients, and I understand, because sometimes the patients will agonize over the color chart. And as you see, the colors behind me, I don't know if you can see it in that camera. Yeah, I'll put it on this camera. Beckett sees the colors behind me, there's a ton of them. And if they got to agonize over that, I just messed that up. There we go. If they agonize over those colors, they could be there for 30 minutes trying to decide on the color. And then sometimes you run into this problem. So yeah, Puronica. I'm saying that wrong. I know I am. I know some offices, they're like, if I had a color chart around here, Beckett, there might be a color chart on your mom's desk. Do you know what they look like? It's a big color chart card. Look at your mom's desk.
Okay.
Big color chart has a lot of colors on it. I used to have them in my drawers here, but anyway, if Beckett can find that, I will get that. I'll show that to you, my color chart. And that was one of the things that they asked in this case when I got a text from the assistant. He asked, hey, do you do all the colors on your color chart? I was like, yes, I carry all the colors. Some of them are definitely more popular than others, but it does a pretty good job. It works. Sorry, I got distracted with this. This all. Notice how short I had to make my wires here on this time. All right, let's do lower. This one I'm gonna have to paint again because I didn't do. I gotta keep up with how many layers I do.
I can't find the color chart.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah?
actually, this needs to dry. Let me look. I think I might know where it's at. All right, give me a second. Our problem. It's like, oh, Puronica. Like Veronica with a P. Thank you, Puronica. That's easy. Our problem was that no one would ask color, or it would take forever for them to pick. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It would take forever for them to pick their color, and so some would just give them like 4 colors to choose from, and that's it. And I'll see if I can grab that color chart real quick. Yeah, our problem. Okay, I got it. Yeah, Puronica. Yeah, that's a great idea. And then these don't have expiration date, really. Maybe some of the glitters down there, they have, sometimes they'll fade. The actual glitter components will fade. But my monomer has like a weird shelf life of like 6 months. So you don't want to have a lot of colors, because then they'll just expire and they won't work right and they'll do weird things. So yeah, I totally understand that. If you carry a lot of colors and nobody ever chooses a color, then but I bet, Veronica, if you're working in a lab, you'd love to do the colors when they do come in. I know a lot of labs that just did pink or clear day in and day out, they get excited when a red one comes in or something like that. So Perry, in some states you don't have to charge tax on repair. A reacrylic is a repair of something existing. Oh, that's it. Yeah, in Texas, I don't have to charge tax on my stuff. So that's a good point. Yeah, repairs are a weird thing. Like I said, this is also could be a internal remake. And so that, because you could do the wrong color. I'm just looking in here for that color chart. My wife keeps a color chart nearby, so just in case, like the offices that comes with a name and a number. I wish my wife was watching. She could tell me where she keeps the color chart. I thought it was here. Anyway, okay. I'm taking too much time. All right.
Oh, comment.
I've been in that lab 16 years. We had a ton of colors back in the day, but now we don't even have anything other than pink and clear. When the pink expires, no more. we don't make too many. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you don't make too many, you know, that's the bad thing. Acrylic things anymore. Yeah, is it all Essex? I know a lot of ortho in-house labs do tons of Essex or clear retainers. So yeah, that's the bad thing is colors are fun, and maybe it's us commercial labs and more us commercial labs and in-house labs that carry the colors, because I could see how in-house labs could have a hard time keeping in stock all the colors. I'm gonna have to. It's humid today, so my separator is having a hard time.
Comment.
Tons of Essex. We do in-house aligners too. That's one of the best things about in-house aligners, with the digital onslaught that we had to suffer through, was doctors get to do in-house aligners now, and they have more control over, you know, the position of the teeth and what software they use and models and materials and stuff. That's one of the good things I think that came out of digital is doctors have more control over aligners now, if they want it. Some are happy with Invisalign, Clear Choice, Clear Correct, whatever, to do their aligners for them, and they can do clean checks and make adjustments, but sometimes it's just nice to get in there yourself and make those movements because you've seen the patient's mouth, as opposed to like a lab that hasn't seen the patient's mouth and we got to make those changes. Veronica, what separator do you use? Right now I am using this one from EnvisionTech. I don't know if that'll come in. You can pause it and get the part number off of that. So that's the separator I use for 3D printed models. Now, I can't legally recommend it because there's a company that has a patent on this stuff. I don't know if EnvisionTech licensed the patent from them, but Try Group Technologies. Let me type that in there. Google them. Are you typing that in, Beckett?
No, I'm responding to another comment.
Okay, so Try Group Technologies, they have the patent. They have a stuff called Siliform, and it's supposedly really good, but it's like $250 for a little 6-ounce jar. Last time I checked, so I haven't used that stuff, but I've heard it's really good stuff. Beckett, did you just say comment?
Yeah.
Pete's on vacation. I have not heard Pete. Have you heard Pete? We caught him sleeping. He's sleeping somewhere. Oh, that's what you use. That's great. Yeah, it's much cheaper when you buy the 32 ounce. What is this ounce that I bought? 1 kilogram. This is 1,000. Oh, do you use Siliform? Is that what you're saying? You use Siliform? Cheaper if you buy 32 ounce? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. But yeah, they're the ones that hold the patent on it. So I got to be careful what I say on my stream. I've gotten a cease and desist order before because I've said, use this stuff. This is great. So now I can only say what I use personally, but I can't recommend anything. So that's what I use personally right now. I do have some other stuff that I've used before that I'll probably might switch back to soon. But anyway, that's what I use for these 3D printed models. It does a pretty decent job. So now that is dried, I'm going to make a few small adjustments to this. You guys switch to the overhead.
Work center.
I was centered. I thought you were saying censored.
Yeah.
I'm like, is YouTube censoring me? What did I say? Besides bump the juice. If y'all haven't seen last week's then you need to watch it and you'll know what that means. All right, so wax that down. This is the one I need to make some big time adjustments on. I'm gonna get my model holder in here. Let's get this centered in here. This is the one I probably adjusted it too hard, and so it flared, it popped out of the acrylic whenever I went to remove the acrylic. So let's readapt this, and then maybe I don't have to adjust it as much. Tuck that back down. So I like to personally, and everybody's different, I like to make sure there's wire going all the way around the model. Becky, you're so loud. Can you hear yourself when you yell it?
Yes, I always hear myself whenever I'm yelling.
Vaseline, $1.50 at the 99-cent store, works great on resin models. Never had an issue. I've heard of people using it, and in fact, I think that's where some other labs that were at a conference I was at. So I go to this conference every year, the ORG conference. One year we live streamed, and there were some recommendations being thrown out, and a lot of us got cease and desist orders. And Vaseline, I think, was one of those. So remember, don't ever recommend it that someone else uses it. You can say what you use. And I've heard of people using, hey Perry, what printer do you use? A lot of it has to do with printer types and resin types. So I think there are some printers, like EnvisionTech, if Steve Zara is on here, there is actually a EnvisionTech that I think they have a resin that you don't have to use separator on. You can just pour directly on there. And I think some Stratus. Oh, Beckett. I bet El Ramen Siddiqui. I cannot say that, I'm sorry. What kind of colors do you use for liquid acrylic? I use a lot of colors. Let me turn my camera around real quick and I can show you. I have this extra camera over here. Beckett, can you see that? Silver camera. Oh, it's not? Did it go blank?
No, it's just not there.
Oh. Oh, at the top, on the left-hand side of the camera, all the cameras that are listed on the left-hand side, on the iPad, there's a plus sign. Click on that plus sign, and then that camera may be in there. Let me,
It's not there.
okay, well, I can show you in a little bit. I'll move my camera, and I'll show you the liquid colors I use. I get all my acrylics from jbcandcompany.com, and they, it's just nice to order them all from the same place. I used to order them years ago from Great Lakes, from just different places. So it got kind of a little annoying. So mainly, and there's a live stream, one of my very first live streams of me unpacking. It's a very boring live stream, but it's me unpacking a starter kit. So you can buy an actual starter kit from JBC, and it's one of every single one of her colors. And if you buy her color chart, that you can just, it's like a plastic, like a credit card plastic, I guess. It actually lists all those colors on there. So that's all. I don't make a color chart for my doctors anymore. Like you see, I'm kind of dealing with a very shallow mouth, so my wires have to be tucked up high, which I don't like, but that's just how it is. I'd rather have that a little lower, but my acrylic will cover that. Well, maybe I'll make one last thing here. open that up, curl that up. Let's see how that changed. A little bit better. Okay. So my wife is texting me. So that means she's not watching the live stream. Shame on her. Same years I use Model V2, although they did a software update grade recently with you manually have to put in the Model V2 before putting it used to be automatic, a little speed bump. Where you manually have to put in Model V2 before you print. Like, I know that they did a new software update where you make presets and then in preform software, and so you upload your models into it and you click, it asks you which preset you use, and this when you choose the V2, which printer you use, V2, what supports you want to use, you build the model on the flat. And so it's supposedly, there are some speed bumps in it where it tries to, it messes up sometimes. It's about 80% accurate, which is nice. But anyway, we're gonna go over here. Beckett can go to the duck cam, and while I set up a camera, since this camera is obviously not working. Then there's no ducks out there, is there, Beckett? I'm trying to set up a camera here. Since one of my cameras is not wanting to function, I think let's zoom in here. Kind of at a weird angle, but that'll work, I think. So I didn't change my paper towel. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. Well, Cade, just get the cameras right. Okay, I think I got it. Let me change my paper towel real quick. And somebody took my trash can. We're gonna blame Sawyer for taking my trash can. All right, I got my models. Got a fresh paper towel. I like to really change those paper towels almost every time. I know it's a big waste, but I think when you're using a lot of colors and you're switching them back and forth a lot, you tend to, there's a chance of getting a little bit of the wrong color in there. Get my thing here. I'm getting set up still. Okay, so they want to switch to Luminary Blueberry, so that is what we're going to use this time. Now, I put a clear coat of acrylic down first. To me, that serves two purposes. One, I like to put the name on the tissue side. That way, I don't have to worry about the thickness of the acrylic. It's always there, and always can see it. And then you can also see the wire. So if you're using a very opaque color, and you go to start trimming this, you will run into the problem of sometimes you can't see your wire. If you didn't bend it in your usual spot or something like that, you'll definitely hit your wire with your grinding wheel. I wish I would have adjusted this Adams class more. Maybe I can adjust it afterwards. And then I'll put a clear coat on top of that. It's way too much monomer, so that's perfect. Again, start with my clear coat. This luminary blueberry tends to, the color separates. I don't know if you can see that. It kind of marbles a little bit. So I kind of do some little tricks. One is instead of doing big drops like this, which tends to make the pigment separate, I'll use tiny, smaller drops like that. And that tends to keep the droplet small, which will keep the pigment separation small. And then you can also pat it down with your finger, and that will keep the pigments from separating. Kind of hard when this retainer is, the model is kind of, I didn't get the full palette scan on this. There we go. Don't let that sit. I need to cut that, but I'm gonna let it sit and just kind of cure just a little bit, and that way I can make my cuts a lot cleaner. Let me get the name for the lower. Again, y'all don't have to worry. Most of y'all don't have to worry about names. Here in Texas, it's state law. You gotta have a name in the retainer. So, or some, not a name, but necessarily, but some sort of identification mark. You notice then I just now looked over at my upper, saw that it was trying to slump, so I put a little powder on there to freeze it. Woo! It's slumping. You see that on the upper? It's starting to slump again. So usually I'll do one side of the lower, or the next model. You notice I did this in a few weeks ago live stream, how to sprinkle multiple models at once. How you can just kind of, you don't have to do one pressure pot, one pressure pot, one pressure pot. If you get fast enough with your acrylic, you can actually do multiples at a time. See, that's almost there. I'm gonna let it sit just a little bit longer. So then put a clear coat on this other underside, and then we'll go and try to cut the upper again. That's starting to slump. See how shiny it is? Shiny is not your friend until you're polishing. You want to keep it, matte finished. Actually, I just got right into it. Let me get this cut. I got distracted sprinkling. That's one of the bad things about doing multiple. Don't get distracted. Keep your head on a swivel. I'm just gonna cut right through there. and then scrape away. What I'm trying to create is a nice area for my knife to get up underneath to get off the model, get the retainer, the acrylic off the model. So you see a nice sharp line. Again, I can't state this enough. You got to be careful. And if you're a pair, you've noticed this. If you scrape too much, you're going to scrape off the separator, and so you got raw model now. So once you do this cut, you cannot add any more in this area right here, because it'll stick like crazy. All right, into the pressure pot that goes. I'm going to add a little bit of acrylic just in case it slumps. I don't think it's going to, but hopefully it'll slump onto that powder and not the raw model. And woo! There we go. Oh, this is starting to try to slump on me. Actually, not bad. The bad thing about cutting some of these is when you don't have a very big model, you know, height-wise, like you didn't get a good scan or something like that, it makes you're kind of cutting blind. You could easily cut into the wire. All right, so this side should be good. So just cut through there. And cutting also saves you a little bit of time on trimming. Yeah, this is not liking where that cut's going, but that's where it is. Not a very pretty, there we go. I like how that's coming off. And of course, I sprinkled this side first, so it's cured. This side is actually cured faster because I sprinkled it first. So that feels a little thin right there, but they have tori. So you know how I said don't add any more acrylic? I'm doing it. It just feels a little thin right there. It looks thin to me. There we go. I feel a little bit better about that. Now I got to make sure I remove this new acrylic off of this model down here. All right, that's kind of trying to slump. Let me put a little. This is not my best work, that is for sure, but I think it's mainly the model not cooperating with me. So into the pressure pot. All right, I got my sample ones here that my sons have done. So I'm gonna put this one that was on the cup into the water. Again, with the 3D printed models, you can go directly into the model. My habit is this using the cup, so there's no reason to steer clear of that. But here are the comment before. There's the monomers I use. Those are all the colored monomers I use. There's a bunch of them, but I like using them. I have my favorites down here are the ones that I get asked for the most, which is pretty much a purple, a red, carabine blue, turquoise, and just a regular blue. And then these are the less not used. Like there's a black, there's wine, cranberry, raspberry. Actually, those are pretty popular. The fluorescent pink, which looks like a highlighter, like fluorescent yellow, it looks like a highlighter. So I only order these in these 2-ounce jars like this because I don't use them much, and they'll go to waste if I order a huge 32-ounce or something of, apple green. So the beautiful colors, I like using them. JBC does an excellent job doing these. So there's black cherry, so you can almost see almost the red in there. So does a really good job of mixing their colors. I've been very happy with them. But like only thing I order in bulk as far as monomers is I'll order 16 ounces of the clear, which is this, which I use all day, every day. So I'll go through it a lot faster. They never do expire. There's the tinted clear. And then I even order another one of these for my standard pink. So I do order them pre-mixed. I just don't like dealing with, I know there's some people that like mixing their own and saving some money. I just don't like dealing with mixing my own. But that is it. Look at my dirty lab bench there. Okay, so that's it. Luminary Blueberry, YouTube in its purest form. It's so true. Yeah, all the mistakes and everything. It's ugly, and camera angles are all bad and everything. There we go. Yeah. Hello from España. From Spain. Very cool. Nice to see you. Yeah, no duck. That's my son printing or typing there. Shiny seems to pull bubbles to the top, creating headaches. Yeah, Shiny's not your friend. Whenever you're Shiny means it's really runny. When I start seeing bubbles, I'll start putting polymer on it and tapping it to try to get the bubbles. But yeah, I like to put them in the pressure pot, covered in powder, or they're matte finished or something like that. So yeah, that's only shiny is at the end. This kind of shiny. That's your friend. Ooh, that came out good. So this is Luminary Blueberry. If you're just joining in, we have switched from Luminary Blue. The patient wanted to switch it to Luminary Blueberry. When they never did deliver them, and it could have been just an internal mistake on the doctor's part, but they sent the retainers back. Now this doctor's a long way away, and I could have just, in their digital models, I could have just printed new models. That's one of the benefits of 3D printing, is you can just print new models. So if you break teeth off or something like that, you can just print new models. And if you break teeth off a stone model, you got to get the patient in, get a new impression, so there's some people that duplicate the models and then have a working model and a master model. A lot of this is done in Crown and Bridge in like dentures and stuff, but that's a lot of models for ortho people. But they'll have a working model that they'll make the retainer on, and then they'll deliver it on the master model. So they always have a backup model. Thank you so much. But I mean the name of the brand. Okay, yeah, it is JBC and Company is my, let's see, what was your colors? Okay, so it's jbcandcompany.com. And I think she ships international. I don't know if you're international or in the US, but I think she ships international. It probably takes longer. So you got to worry about your acrylics and stuff. But yeah, my whole shelf back here is JBC and Company. And if I could ever find that color chart, I would show it to you. Right now I'm taking questions while those are curing. If you are interested, I'll trim them for you. I got a camera over there. Let's see if I can find JBC and Company. Pull that up. I'm going to share my screen here. Share screen and share. Hey, we'll do, yeah, there you go. Okay. I know there's two of me on here. That's weird. But, all right. Oh, did you type it too?
Yeah. But the actual website URL.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Hyperlink so that they could just click it.
Oh, they can click straight from the link. Okay. But yeah, so here's the products. Here's her acrylics. There's her acrylic starter kit. And there's that color chart. If that will pull up, since we're live streaming through this same browser, it's there's the color cards. Let me pull that up so you can kind of see if I can get a good view of this. There we go. Okay, so you can see there's different columns. So there's transparent colors, there's luminary, glow in the dark, there's royals, opaques, pearls, sparkle. So when you buy the kit, you get one of every one of these. Now, some of the ones behind me are still in their little tiny bottles, which that's what you get. You get a 2 ounce of every single color to start with. Some of them aren't very popular. I don't use them much, like chocolate brown. So they're still in little 2 ounce bottles for the powder. But then when you reorder, you can order a pound, you can order 16 ounces, however much. But some doctors that only want to offer like transparent colors, they'll cut this color card. So this is like a plastic sheet, like a credit card or something like that. And they'll just cut off the transparent colors, or they'll just only cut that royals, neon glow, non-glow neon, that royal, those colors, they'll only cut that and only offer that. And so they'll just hand the patient a little strip of colors to choose from. So that's what some doctors do, is they take my color card I give them, and then they just cut the strips off that they want to use. And so there's sections in there. So she's sectioned them out pretty good. So, okay, all right. Gaming live stream. What'd you type in there, Beckett?
It looked like you were gaming, like with the little,
Oh, with the little, my head in the corner. Maybe I need to set a green screen behind me, and then have a little, like a gaming head in the corner over there. All right, switch to another camera. Let's, I'm gonna turn this one off. No, I'm gonna turn the duck cam off since we don't have ducks out there. No, they're out there. Yeah, switch to the duck cam. And those are my wife's. Those are Wagner, and I see Tuff and Jolene. They're out there just enjoying a little swim in the kiddie pools. So I'm gonna switch cameras over to here. And maybe I'll just trim one of these. Y'all kind of get the idea on trimming. I'll just probably trim the one that doesn't work very good. It may break or something like that. Did something just happen? Mine's one blank. Well, don't show that. Yeah, don't show my rump. Yeah, people want to see ducks instead of rumps. I'm just transferring a tripod real quick. Sorry, guys. Like I said in the beginning, I'm working with new cameras and new camera setups and stuff, so that's kind of what I'm dealing with here. There we go. Let me move this over here. All right, Beck, I think I got... No, I don't. I don't have it, Beckett. Okay. I got a couple cameras to switch between over here. I'm gonna try to separate these models. They should be ready to go. Put that in the water. Oh, hot, hot, hot. So this is get these practice ones out of the way. I'm gonna take off the sticky wax before it cools and hardens back and keeps my wires tacked on. And then I'm going to slide my knife up underneath my cut mark and push it up. There we go. Now one thing I'm not doing is I'm not sliding it and then prying it toward me. I'm more planting the tip of my knife and then using a moving motion to get that off of there. I'm going to clean up the wax a little bit. Start on this other one. There we go. Okay, I feel a little better. No, I don't. That's sticking. I'm scared now. Oh no. Remember this side I said don't add? Okay, whew, okay. That side I said never re-add acrylic after you've made your cuts. Yeah, I thought it was stuck on me. Happens every once in a while. All right, so I got these. I'm gonna go to the steamer. Beckett, go to the duck cam real quick. There's still ducks out there?
Yes.
All right. Okay, never mind. I do not have a steamer. My son was nice enough to turn it on for me, but he turned the wrong switch on. He didn't turn the boiler on. So we're just going to go without steamer for a second. Oh, they're just preening themselves, aren't they? On the duck cam. All right, so I'm set up over here. Is this still on camera, this overhead? Where I put the retainer?
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, all this going on is pretty basic. I'm going to use a wheel here just to get the borders done. You can't see that, can you? There we go. I'll just have to, you can see part of it in the corner. You get the borders. Oh, I gotta turn the suction on. I can smell this. I get the all the borders of the retainer trimmed up nice. That's mainly what I use this wheel for. Is getting the borders where I want them. You can work on the thickness a little bit. Have a little bit of wax on those tori on this lower that are right here. You can't really see it in the thing, but I tend to put wax on there. I know those tori, they're very sensitive for those patients that have them. You know, just ask them whenever they're eating chips and salsa and a chip stabs them in their tori. They about come out of their chair. My wife has them, and she says they're real sensitive. So I try to wax so the acrylic's not sitting directly on them in case that causes some irritation. So those are those little humps right there. All right. There we go. I think I got it pretty close. Turn that off. Now, here's the thing. We're going to use that bristle brush again. And I like to usually start. Let me start with a knife, though. Now that this has cooled down, that's one good thing about this sticky wax is it should just fracture off. And that way you don't get wax in your burrs and stuff. But you shouldn't be touching your wires with the burrs anyway. But I like to use these bristle brushes to clean up around the wires. And I usually just go right to, pretty much you can tell right where the wire starts going into the acrylic, into the roof of the mouth in the case of this upper one. That's usually where I bring it to. And that helps clean it up, helps the retainer sit better on the model when you're trying it on the model later in a little bit. And then I'll clear up any of these little areas that are going in between the teeth, sharpen them all up. I like to do it first before I go to my burr of choice. So again, I'm just going along the wire. Again, you don't have to worry about this damaging the wire, and just going along until you'll get a good handle on it. Usually, sometimes you have to click off this acrylic anyway when you're QCing, just because it gets in the way when you're trying to seat it back on the model. So I'm going to switch to my aggressive burr right here, and let me do this upper one, and I just start doing a little bit more fine-tuned trimming, getting the height on top of the teeth, where I want them. Same thing here. This is where you would scallop. I did work for one that did scalloping and then ended up doing this. It's just the way that they did the best measuring of the height on the teeth. So instead I'm a little high over here, so I just go back and forth on the model until I get this acrylic where I want on the tooth. And of course it depends on how big the teeth are. If they're short teeth, these are kind of medium, kind of on the short side, I'll do half the tooth. If it's like big, huge honking teeth, I'll do a little bit further down. Just, patient comfort. They won't wear this if, one, they're going to slur their speech the thicker you make it right here. But if you make it too thin, then it gets weak. So it's a give and take relationship. It's got to be thick enough to be strong, and this is where I start. Remember how I got the height right here? This is where I'll start tapering together. And put it back on the model. Check my acrylic height seems a little high, but maybe I can knock it down just a little bit. So you see these scalloping. Then I flip it over and I just blend it. So when you do the bristle brush here, you're going to make a little ledge, and you use these burrs to taper them in, contour and stuff. So let me shorten these just a little bit more so they look better on the model, maybe more comfortable for the patient. And then blend them in. I could probably take my bristle brush right here, take that down some, but let me see what it looks like on the model. Yeah, you can take a knife, you can cut at it if you want, a razor blade, or you can just use these. Again, the downfall is you get these little metal hairs stuck in you, in your socks, in your underwear, your bra. And then I'm looking at one thing you can do. Let me go grab something. Is when you're replacing the acrylic, you can actually get the old acrylic, since it was saved from using the stainless steel bristle brush. You could actually put it back on the model. This will also help you know, hey, something was wrong with the model. You take all the wires off, you put the acrylic base back on, and you can tell if something has gone wrong with it. And then you can kind of see, you know what, this is a little taller than this one. Then it's probably this missing piece, this gap. Yep, see how that's hanging over it? So my wife, when she's the one that probably trimmed this, she probably played it safe and made it taller. So then I can just go back to this wheel and remember the clear coat we put on there? I can see where the wires are, so I can actually get a little closer. Well, you can't see what I'm doing. I'll show it to you in a second. So you can see if I had my steamer, I'd take this wax off. But you can see my wires, I can see them. If I had covered them in the luminary blueberry all the way through without using a clear coat on the bottom, I wouldn't be able to see that. I wouldn't know where my wires were. So now that I shortened it, it should match what was originally on here. Now, that's one thing you need to think about, especially if it's a patient that had worn their acrylic. I use this for repairs, this method. Just strip out the wires and just replace all the acrylic instead of repairing it. Because sometimes the roof of the mouth changes and all that stuff. It's good to have the old acrylic handy so you can see the patient's used to the feel of this acrylic in his or her mouth. If you go and start changing it a lot, it'll take them a little while to get used to it. Alright. If you want, you can go to a finer tooth burr to do any. Now, see all those little hairs on there? I don't know if you can see them. You don't want them in your handpiece collet, so you got to pull them off. Like I said, that is the bad part about using these. This is the one downfall. Like I said, this won't attack the wires as bad. It will. In fact, I use this burr for trimming solder joints, so it will get the metals, but you kind of got to be more purposeful about it. Or you can skip this step and just go straight to sandpaper. So let's do that. Here's my sandpaper called a split mandrel, and my sandpaper's falling off, so I'm going to, let me turn this off. Sometimes I have to fold it when this split gets a little worn out. You can also take a pair of pliers, squeeze it down, and then you don't have to fold the paper like this. But we get this from Great Lakes Ortho. There's the number. But it comes in a big roll, and you just tear off a chunk of it, and then I just roll it up on the split mandrel like that, put it on here. And then this is like pre-pumicing, is what I like to think of it like. So just like sanding wood or metal or anything, you're going to go with the coarsest grit first, which was that green wheel. And then, you know, go to the coarse burr, and then you can go to a fine burr, and then this is in between a fine burr and pumice. And there we go. And that is ready for pumice. So let's just go pumice this one real quick. And Beckett, is there a duck cam?
Yes, but there's no ducks.
Oh, there's no ducks. Okay. I'm going to try to set up a camera here. Let me turn this on so I get some light. Yeah, it's helpful if we had ducks to look at instead of me trying to do this camera. There we go. There's the shot. All right, I need to take this wheel off. I'm gonna wet the wheel. Let's add a little bit of pumice here. Okay, that's not what I wanted. That's weird. That is too much water, so that's perfect. Yeah, that's way too much water. I don't like it. I don't like it that runny. But let's see if I can get this pumice real quick. There we go. Take some. You know what we need, Beckett? We need like an auto treats feeder out there for the ducks. So when we need to switch to the duck camera, it'll throw out some grub worms or something. Oh, is that pepper? That's pepper. How many of you think that y'all could pumice blindfolded? Do it long enough? You think you could just do it by feel, just by touching it like that? I do it just a little bit on the tissue side. Again, I didn't get to use my steamer, so hopefully the pumice will take any wax off of there. So I'm going to rinse this. Oh, my steamer's ready. Okay. That guy that said this is YouTube in its truest form, you nailed it today. Alright. A little high shine on the wheel. Make this nice and shiny. Okay, so we're done with that one. So let me go back to this place. Grab my models and my chair. Well, this has gotten tougher. Disregard the pauses here. I can't get my camera to work. There we go. I think that'll work. Yeah, you're showing the duck thing with no ducks. All right, so we're ready. All right, we're finished now. We've officially transformed from luminary blue to blueberry. Put it under this camera here. Diana, nice to see you again. The paste you use for polishing is yellow. Do you have, oh wait, why is this popped up? Do you have green? I see you have green. When do you use your green? The green is my metal polish. So let me get my wheel here. So this is my green polish, and I use it for metal. So RPEs and stuff like that. And I keep a wheel next to it. You see how when I polish metals, it turns it black. So I keep a separate wheel just for this polish. So this is, I get it from JBC. It's called Best Ever Acrylic High Shine something or other. I think it's like 60 bucks a brick, but it does a really good job. And I keep a separate wheel for that too. So, oh yeah, Perry, amazing how we all do different techniques. It's fun to see other people's techniques too. I like watching Steve Zara's, Avanzada Dental and all those. I like to watch everybody's different techniques. Okay, Beckett, what did you put in the STTAA? What is that? What'd you put in the comments, Beckett? What is this? STA? What are you spelling? Nothing. All right, my son's having too much fun running the live stream. But here we go. We'll go over the overhead camera here, and we have officially gone from luminary blue to blueberry. You can see how that works like that. If I had the right kind of camera, I could turn off all the lights in here, and both these would glow. But you can see a difference between luminary blue and luminary blueberry. So I think the patient will be extremely happy with that change, and and that's it. That's pretty much it. It was pretty much just a switch from just taking out the wires and using a stainless steel bristle brush. So that's my secret, really, to take the wires out, and also it helps in the trimming process too. It's done. Yes, I didn't comment that, my son did, so he's probably ready to get off the live stream. So anyway, I will call it there. Thank y'all for watching again. Hopefully this helped someone, and like Perry said, it's fun watching everybody's techniques and tricks and stuff. Perry, I'm going to look at your YouTube channel. If you got any videos on there, I'd like to see your techniques too. Since we're pretty close in the types of materials we use, as far as 3D printers and separators and stuff. So anyway, I'm going to put my banner up here and get the outro ready. And again, thank you. Hey, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I go live every Friday. There may be a change up in the next few weeks I'm going to try to start a ORG podcast. So where I interview different lab owners across the world and nation. So that should be fun. So it may replace this time slot, and I'll move this time slot somewhere else. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification so you can keep up with what's the new exciting things that are coming up. So thank you so much. Oh, there's 2 comments. Oh, it's my son. You're messing me up. All right, and Pete didn't show up. I don't know where Pete was, but anyway, I'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all for hanging out, and until then, happy bending. Wait a couple seconds.